Hello everyone, Kit here and welcome to my review of the Endeavour episode Nocturne. This is episode 2, series 2 and chronologically it's episode 7. This episode is convoluted. I think most people who have watched this would say it's convoluted, and that's borne out by the fact that there are two long pieces of exposition within the episode. So that to me proves even the writer Russell Lewis knew that it was a little convoluted. But it doesn't take away from the fact it's a fun, watchable episode, which is more than can be said for most of the recent episodes in series 7, 6 and maybe even 5 as well. The story is at heart a ghost story, wrapped in with a murder with a touch of gothic to it as well. Russell Lewis, the writer of the episode, in fact all episodes of Endeavour, has utilised ideas from novels and other stories. For example, John Wyndham's The Midwich Cuckoos, great novel by the way, and Wilkie Collins' The Moonstone, and there's also touches of a real life Victorian murder of a child, which was written into a book by Kate Summerscale, The Suspicions of Mr. Witcher. So he's taken various elements from elsewhere and utilised them into a good episode. It's very like, as I always say about cover versions in music, I don't mind cover versions if they do something new with the song, but if they just end up reworking the song in the same way as it was, it's pointless. For instance, you've got Johnny Cash, his version of Hurt by Nine Inch Nails, very different version to Nine Inch Nails' original version. That's how you do a cover version. And Russell Lewis is in that same respect as far as writing for Endeavour. Russell Lewis is a bit like a magpie. He picks and chooses all the little shiny bits from other novels and films and TV series and puts them together, but he makes it his own. This is one of Russell Lewis's strengths. The episode moves along a nice pace. Occasionally it gets a little turgid, in particular with the direction, but all in all it does move along well. And you can't really blame the directors too much, because they must be under time constraints and financial constraints, so they can't be too, florid or fancy in what they do. But again, as always, all the actors are at their best. Not just the main characters, but also the character actors they're brought in as well. It's one thing that's always worked in Endeavour is the acting is always top notch, and as always, Sean Evans pulls the episode along with just his force of character and his force of his acting. He's that good an actor. There are two subplots of sorts in the episode. One involves an American couple whose son was killed in England in during a flight, a military flight, and he had a daughter, but they're not sure of who that woman was, and they want to try and track down their granddaughter, and they employ the Mr. Vise, who is the first victim in the episode. I'm not sure what the episode gains with this subplot, other than giving us a nice happy ending as such. The other, you wouldn't really call it a subplot, it's just in the background. It's 1966 and there's a football World Cup, which was held in England, and that's in the background of this episode. Though the episode didn't, and during the episode you never find out who wins the World Cup, which is very strange. I mean, I'm still wondering who won the World Cup in 1966. I'd love to know. Some of those witnesses were girls and a teacher from a local boarding house. It's during the summer, majority of children have gone home, but for those who can't return home for whatever reason, they stay within the school. So Endeavour goes to the school to interview the girls and the teacher to find out if they've seen anything in regards to the murder. And it's this house is where the main story forms. The school is where the main ghost story events happen, and that part of the episode is rather creepy, but nothing would make you jump off your seat or hide behind the couch or anything like that. A lot of it's been seen elsewhere in other films and TV series, but it's done very well. The school was witness to a dreadful group of murders. 3 children, 2 adults. Of the children were of the same family, the Blaze Hamiltons. This happened 100 years before, in 1866. And now the teachers and the pupils believe they've seen the ghost of the young child who survived those gruesome murders. The person who wrote a book about those murders comes to the school to investigate the paranormal happenings. During that particular scene, is taking photographs, so you get these flashes of images of the possible ghost, of the young girl in Victorian clothing. That's a good scene. That's very well done, and I really like that. There are quite a few problems, apart from the plot being very convoluted. Just some things that happen in the episode just don't work very well. You have that old thing that's seen in so many dramas, so many films, where the murderer, in this particular instance, is holding a young girl hostage with a knife at her throat, and he's backing off from the police. He managed to stop the police getting into a room by putting a broom handle through the handles on the door, and then rather than moving to an entrance, he goes upstairs. He goes towards the attic, which of course is rather ridiculous. How is he going to escape from the police up there? But we all know from previous films and dramas, TV dramas, that this is done to create drama, because we know when we see someone, the murderer, falling from a great height, how dramatic that is. And that's exactly why this was done as well, to have that big drama of the murderer falling through the floorboards into the ground below, or the floor below. And again, that's another problem I have, that it's only about 10 feet drop, but he dies instantly, wherein Morse had fell through the same floor and survived only a few scratches and bruises. So it doesn't quite work. I don't know why they couldn't have had the murderer surviving it, maybe broken a leg or something similar. I don't see why they need to kill him. It doesn't quite gel properly. But these problems don't detract from what is a good episode, and an episode that can be rewatched, unlike some of the more recent episodes, which is hard enough just to watch for the first time. On my website reviews, I give I call a JAG rating. As we all know, Morse drives a red Jag. and for this episode I would give it 7 Jags out of 10. I think it's certainly worth that. My initial thought was 6, but I think more realistically it's 7 Jags out of 10. Now if you would like to know more information about the episode in regards to locations, music, etc, etc, you visit my website and you get a more comprehensive review. I hope you enjoyed this short review, and if you did, and if you're watching on YouTube and not on my website, please leave a like, and also if you're on YouTube or my website, please subscribe. So thank you for watching. I hope everyone is in good health, and I'll see you again very soon. Take care. Bye.